Morning everybody. Welcome back to another episode from Scrapyard Rescue. Today what we're going to do is I got a couple little things I want to do on the fairlane. Number one, it's a beautiful day here, sunshine. It's going to be around 60 degrees. You know, not going to get too many of these days left, so I want to get out here and work on the car. First thing I'm going to do is I got a little bit of a lifter noise over here on the driver's side bank on the engine, so I'm going to pop that valve cover off and check all the lifters and see if I got a loose one or a tight one or something. It's just a little tick that I'm going to see if I can eliminate. The car's getting enough miles on it now that that stuff's going to start to need to be adjusted and tweaked. So we're going to do that. The other thing I got to do is I got to pull the thermostat housing off. Last time I worked on the cooling system, I put in a new thermostat, new gas. Okay, I don't know, there's going to be a little blip here, I think, in the film, whatever. Something just happened. The camera just decided to turn off there. So anyways, last time when I was working on the car, on the cooling system, I put a new thermostat and stuff in, and apparently I didn't get it sealed properly, something. It's got a leak in it. It's just kind of dripping a little bit down there. Nothing serious, but I'm going to take care of that. And then the other thing I want to do is I want to try to reroute these plug wires on this ignition system a little bit. And they're really long, and they're kind of been draped all over. They look kind of ugly, so I'm going to see if I can route them along the sides here. This one on the cover I took off looks like it'll work pretty good, so we'll do that. And that's about it. I don't really got much to do anymore on the car. Winter's coming. I want to put carpet in. I almost ordered carpet this morning, but I don't know, it got all screwed up trying to order it, so I gave up on that. That's about all I got to put door seals in this thing still. But anyways, I've been driving it almost every day. Runs good. So let's go ahead and get to that. I got to figure out some place to put the camera, because of course now the sun is just shining straight down. So I'm going to have to try to hide the camera, otherwise you're not going to see anything. So we'll get to that right here in a few seconds. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the valve cover off here. I got the radiator drained, so when we get over on that, we should be okay. This thing has sure been running good. Well, I couldn't be happier with it. This is the first little adjustment since I've got everything sorted. It looks like come on. It kind of looks like I got a little oil leak up there. These valve covers had they had a thing up there where you were supposed to get like the factory kind of clip to put the wires on, and I didn't have that. So I just ground off that thing a little, kind of cut the edges off of it so it wasn't sticking up. And I'm noticing it's seeping some oil out of there, so I probably ground it too far down, and now it's starting to leak. But I got other valve covers, and I've been thinking about putting some different ones on anyway, so it don't matter. The other thing I wanted to mention, get your guys' opinion. First of all, if you're not a subscriber to my channel, I would really appreciate it if you would just hit that button. It's The only way I can get my channel to grow and get YouTube to work with me and get me up so people can see my videos is if you guys subscribe and you know, YouTube sees that there's people that are interested, and then I'll get some more viewers, which should be nice. But the thing I wanted to mention is I got on fairlane number 2, I got the engine out, of course. You've probably seen some videos on that. And I took the block in last week over to the machine shop so they can tank it and do all that kind of stuff to it. Get it clean, check it, magnaflux it, all that stuff to, you know, see if I got something to start with. So, of course, in the meantime, I take some paperwork up to my friend that owns a wrecking yard. He's actually the guy that gave me that car, and I need to get the paperwork done in this car, my Pinto. He has seen how he's a licensed tow truck operator, and you know, the licensed wrecking yard that he's legally he can get paperwork on the cars to sell them. So I took the paperwork up there for this one and my Pinto so I can get a title for it. And in Oregon, when you do that, it costs $75. You send it into this lien company that does that. They send you back all the legal paperwork. It shows that you bought the car from a licensed tow place that had the car. They had it impounded, basically. It was abandoned, so they legally can get rid of the cars. So it shows that I bought the cars on auction from the guy, and then they give you a title. And so I asked him if it was like a, you know, scrapyard title, you know, salvage title, you know, what kind of title was it? I said, it's a title, just an Oregon state title. So I was like, cool. So I got both of them for my Pinto and stuff. So that way, so in the spring, when I start I can get my tags and stuff on them and get them out so I can start driving them around legally. I take this out every day, but I don't, you know, the most I go is about 25 miles and back. I don't take it out on the main highways or anything. I did pass a state trooper one day with it. Kind of scared me, but he didn't even pay any attention. I do have the actual original plate on the car still, but it expired in the 80s, so if he'd have took a good look, he'd have seen that. But he didn't, so I was good. And, you know, I don't know. I don't care. What are they going to do? Give me a ticket? All right, come on. Get off of there. I don't want to break the gasket because I don't have one. All right. Got that off. Okay, now let's just do a little quickie check here and see what's going on. That one's really loose. I can tell that right now. That one's okay. That one feels good. Okay, I got my big wrench out here, so I'm gonna turn it over. But I could. This is the one right here. I could see it just. It's clicking already. So, I think I need 9/16 or a 5/8 for those. So let me go grab that real quick. And at the zombie zoo. Yep, there we go. Got it. So I'm going to get this one out of my way because I get too much junk laying around and I can't ever find anything. Okay, anyways, what I was getting at earlier there, before I got sidetracked, is I want to, oh, that's what it was. Okay, I remember now. The guy, I'm sitting up there talking to the guy, and a friend of his comes over, that's a car guy and stuff, and so he starts talking about the cars, and he starts saying, well, I got that 289 out of that other car, and they're talking about it and stuff, and he says, yeah, he goes, I think it's a high output engine. He goes, it says so on the valve covers. He goes, well, I don't know if it is, but you know, we're talking about it, and he's like, my friend goes, well, what do you want for the engine? And the guy's like, well, I don't know, I don't really want anything. He goes, well, you know, is there something we can trade? And my buddy's like, well, what do you want to trade? And the guy's like, well, that little Dodge Dakota pickup you got, he goes, I want that truck. He goes, I got one, but the engine's no good, but it's been bashed in, and I know the engine, and you know, the engine in it's good, and I know the engine in that one's bad. He goes, I can swap the engines and then have a really nice truck. So the guy's like, well, he's like, okay, so he goes, you'll swap the engine if I give you that truck. And the guy's like, yeah, I'll swap the engine. He goes, it's a good engine. He goes, I know it runs. He goes, it's been sitting now for a while, so it's going to have to be torn down and cleaned. And so the guy says, well, okay, I'll swap you the engine for the truck. So it's like, they're like, oh, okay, great. I'll get, do that, and I'll get that engine ready. And my buddy looks at me. He goes, there you go. You got an engine for your car. I'm like, huh? He goes, yeah. He goes, you just come up here and get the engine. He goes, take that and take it back and put it in the car. I'm like, okay. That's what he did with the car. I was up there one day telling him about this car. He goes, I know where there's one of those cars. And then he calls me up a while later and he says, this guy that I know that's got the car wants me to come over and do some excavating work for him. He said he'd give me these old cars he's got to do it. So I'm going to, get that car. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Then he called me up a few weeks later. He goes, so I got the car over here at my yard. So I go up there and look at it. And I'm like, wow, that's freaking cool. It's the exact same car as this one. So we talked about it and everything. And I'm like, okay, well, I got to, figure it out and make arrangements and all that kind of stuff to get it. And we got to work out a deal and whatever we got to do. So another couple weeks goes by and he calls me up. He says, I got to rearrange all my stuff out here. He goes, the county's bitching. I got to get things cleaned up. I got to do stuff. He goes, I need you to come and get your car. And I said, well, I'll have to get a trailer and all that. I don't have a trailer, so I got to get a trailer and stuff. He goes, I got a trailer. He goes, you can just use my trailer. I'm like, okay. He goes, you got to bring your truck, though. He goes, you have to have a 3/4 ton truck to pull it. And I said, that's fine. I got one. So I go up there, and I'm thinking I'm going to have to drag this thing up on the trailer and winch it and, all that stuff. And it's just going to be a pain in the butt all by myself. I get up there, and he's got it sitting on the trailer. He goes, there it is. Just bring the trailer back when you get done with it. I'm like, okay. So that's how I got fairlane number 2. And now he wants to give me a motor. Except the trouble is, and here's my dilemma. Now, I'm not going to just put that motor in the car and then hope like hell it works. I've already started the process of rebuilding the engine that was in the car. So I'm going to have to take the other engine apart, like I did this engine, strip it down to the block, drop the oil pan, and start rebuilding it. And I left the block in this one. I pulled the heads off, had the heads done, put new bearings on the bottom end. The pistons and stuff were fine, so I was able to just leave them. Did the valves, all that stuff, water, I did all that stuff to this thing. And so now do I do it all to that engine? Or do I just continue on my other engine and rebuild it? Because I want to rebuild that completely. So I kind of, or do I just do them both, and then just have an extra engine, I guess. I don't know what to do. So if you guys have tell me your opinion. Put that down in the, down below down there in the comments and, say, hey, yeah, if that's a high output engine, put that in there. Or no, don't put the stock engine, so you got matching numbers, that kind of stuff. To me, the matching numbers and all the correct stuff isn't really that important. What's important is that the car just is reliable, runs good, and I can have fun driving it. Because, I'm pretty sure probably I'm never going to sell any of these. This one I've put up for sale, and I've never got any interest on it, so I'll probably just keep it. Everything it's in is paid for, so it's not like I have a payment I need to make. So anyways, think about that. Let me know what you think. Give me some comments. Do the subscribe thing. Let's go ahead and see what we got here. These are all supposed to just turn. Okay, that one's the one right there. I don't even know if I need to mess with the other ones. I know they're all, it's just been a real small ticking, so I know it's just one. Oh, yeah, it's pretty loose. There was another one here that, this one's a bit, just a bit. Give it a little tweak of a turn. That's pretty good. You go ahead and crank this thing over a few more times. Get a couple more of them loosened up to see what's going on. Come on. One's good. That one there feels a teeny bit loose too. What's going on here? There we go. This car doesn't burn a drop of oil. I, of course, changed oil after I ran it for a while. And stuff, and put new oil and filters and all that good stuff in it. And it doesn't burn a drop of oil. It's still exactly on the full mark. I haven't got, tons of miles on it, of course. I'm only, I think I kind of estimated the other day that I probably got maybe 500 miles on it since I got it so I can drive it up and down the road. So when I take it out, I go about 20 miles or so. Come on, get out there. Okay, I got to get this front one over. Kind of seems like it might be a little tight. No, it's not tight. Good, 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 good. Well, I think that's it for that. Come on. It was just that one, that number 8 one. I'm pretty sure that was it. It was actually, you could tell it was loose, and all the other ones look good. So, I'm just gonna button it back up. Like I said, it was just a small tick, just enough that, you know, kind of bugs you. It's like, dang it, I don't like that ticking, you know. I mean, if I wasn't like a car guy, I wouldn't have, you know, I wouldn't have cared, because it obviously, you know, they're hydraulic lifters, so they're not going to hurt nothing. And okay. Give me a chance to clean this crap up a little bit. The oil is just, when I check the oil in this stuff, you know, it's just clean. Nice. You know, it's like you can hardly see it on the dipstick, and you know, it pretty much amazes me that a car can sit for as many years as this sat out there in that field, right on the ground, no wheels on it or nothing. It just sat right smack on its, you know, the floor on the ground, and it doesn't have any rust underneath. I mean, nothing. It's just as solid as can be. The other car over there is the same thing. That one, I think, plate, the last plate on it was, I'm thinking in the 89, if I remember right. I'd have to go look at the plate again. But this one here was 84. So they lasted about 20 years, and you know, they got parked. This one had the engine rebuilt, though. Somebody rebuilt the engine on this. It had, great, drop everything in the dirt. The bearings on the crank were replaced once. The crank had been turned. The pistons were 40 over. So I would imagine it had a valve job then. That's probably why the valves, when I took the heads apart, were, you know, in such good shape. It's because they had already been done once. So this one, you know, apparently had a lot of miles on it. It wasn't just sitting around. The other one, everything was standard on it, and it didn't look nothing. It's worn. You know, when I took the crank off and stuff, and you know, it was worn. You could see a ridge between where the rods were moving. The crank part itself, the journals where the rods were actually okay. You know, you could have ran the engine, but you know, it had a little bit of wear, so I'll probably have that. I'll have that done. You know, I'm just gonna start with the block, see what the block is. If the guy calls me and says, yeah, the block's good, next thing we're going to do is do the pistons, because one piston was seized in there and it did score it up. So He's going to hone it and then see if we have to re-sleeve it. And hopefully, if it needs to be re-sleeved, he just has to do that one piston, and then we could just bore the rest out, you know, and go, you know, like he said, maybe we could just go 40 over and everything will smooth up real nice. So that's what this was 40 over. So that would be good if we did that. And then I'm going to bring the crank over and the cam and have him check all that. And I'm pretty sure I'll have him turn the crank. This guy's really reasonable. He's gonna tank the block, magnaflux it, replace the frost plugs, and replace the cam bearings, and he said it'd be about $100 or so. And I'm like, whoa, yeah, cool. And he's a legitimate shop, because he's got stuff stacked to the ceiling in this shop. When you walk in the front door, the whole front part of the shop where you come in and the counters there, and this is a typical old school kind of like machine shop where there's stuff everywhere, you know. There must have been at least 15 engine blocks sitting there on the floor waiting, you know, to be picked up. You could see they were all like new, you know, they'd all been done and machined and cleaned and honed and whatever he did to them. They were all just sitting out there waiting, you know, for the customers to come and pick them back up. So obviously, if he's got that much work, he's not an idiot, you know. He wouldn't have that kind of work if he wasn't doing a good job. So I felt comfortable with that. At first, people were saying, that's too cheap, you know, that's too cheap. You can't do it, but they're comparing prices to Klamath Falls here, which is everybody around here is a freaking ripoff. The guy told me there's one machine shop that might do work for you, might not. He doesn't want to work anymore, but he kind of does. He told me it would take him all winter just to get the block cleaned, and it would be $300. And I'm like, yeah, you know, whatever. Why don't you just close your doors and go home if you don't want to work? But all the rest of the other machine shops in Klamath Falls have closed down. I'm not sure. Maybe because it's only an hour's drive over to Medford, or an hour and a half, I guess, where you can get a block cleaned for $100, you know, and $20 or so worth of gas. Anyways, let's go ahead and get this back on. Yeah. Get that out of there. Okay, where's that little freaking hole? There it is. Where's that hole? There it is. Okay. Oh, get in there. Come on, come on. Shit. There. I'll just stay there, dang it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get that put back on, and we'll get back at it here. Okay guys, we got the valve cover back on. You can see I kind of rerouted the plug wires a little bit, kind of neaten them up some. They're just to kind of, I got this side is pretty much the best I could do. I need to rerun that tack wire over and run around, but I'm not going to do that right now. I'd have to go inside and, I don't know, do a bunch of crap, so I'm not going to do that. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and get the thermostat housing out and fix that little leak. You can see, can you see down there? Yeah, I guess right down in there you can see some water. I hope it's coming from, yeah, I can see where it's dripping, so I just didn't get something right on that gasket. We'll get that fixed here next. Okay guys, we got everything buttoned up. I got this side over here kind of, oh, I guess we already probably talked about this, didn't we? Yeah, I got the thermostat back off and a new gasket put back on. I don't see it dripping anywhere yet, but we'll see what happens. I got the old Go Juice back in here. Check the oil. Plumb full, right on the full mark. Transmission shows it's got a little too much in it, but it says to do it in idle, so I got to start it up, and I'm going to crank it over now, warm it up. Make sure the antifreeze is good, and probably then take it out for a ride. So we'll go ahead and get it running and go from there. Okay guys, it fired right up as usual. You can, I don't know how good you can hear the motor running, but that little lifter chick I had is completely gone. So that one back, number 8 cylinder back there was the one that had a loose lifter, and oh man, it's quiet as can be. So bug juice is working good. I'm going to go ahead and button up the radiator cap here, and I'm going to take it out on the highway, run it up and down a little bit, warm it up, and come back and we'll see what it sounds like it's warmed up. And if I don't foresee a problem, but we'll go check. Alright guys, I just got back from about a 25-mile test run. The engine is running perfect, just quiet as could be, sounds like a brand new motor, not a bit of lifter noise. I just checked the thermostat housing, and I can see antifreeze down below there again. So I'm wondering if it's not coming from the thermostat housing. That's the third time I've fixed it. It's still leaking, so there's something, there must be a crack. There's something in there. Maybe the water pump up there. I'm going to check the bolts now that it's hot and see if the water pump bolts are loose up there or something. It's weeping through there. It's not leaking, it's just weeping, you know, out. The other thing, which I don't know, I got down to where I usually go. It's about 12, 13 miles down the road, and I noticed the temperature gauge hadn't moved at all. I have gauges inside there. Usually by the time I get up out here and out onto the highway, it's up to about 160, and then it stays at 160 until I get back and come down the mile or so down this road at like 5-10 miles an hour, and then it'll heat up to about 170. I stopped down there wondering if there was something wrong. The engine's fine. It's just, it's not over, it's not, I don't know, it's not, I don't know what it's doing. When I stopped for a while down there, I noticed that the temperature gauge did bump up about 5 degrees, and then as soon as I got on the road, it dropped back down again. It's sitting right at the bottom, like at like 105 degrees. So just now coming down here, it got up to about maybe 120. So I've left it running here. I'm gonna go peek in there now and see if it's climbed up a little bit. Okay, well, it's at 160 now. Oil pressure's at about 30 pounds, which is about normal on this once it gets warmed up. It sounds just fine. I don't know what the heck changing that thermostat gasket, what I would have possibly could have done. I mean, it's working, the system's working. Oh, I gotta check the training fluid now that it's hot. See what it's doing. Okay, now the training fluid looks good. When I checked it when it was cold, it was about this high up above the full mark. But it said to check it when the engine's running idling. So now that it's hot, it's back down to down onto the full mark. So I guess it's okay. Radiator feels hot. I don't know. It's only about maybe 50. Right around 50-ish out. I can't believe that the outside temperature would affect it that much that it doesn't even heat up when it's going down the highway. But anyway, so well with that, everything's good. I'm going to check that water pump, see if I can find a loose bolt or something that it's sweeping out of. Otherwise, I guess that's it for now. I'm not sure how many videos I can do over the winter. You know, I don't got a lot to do, and I got to work outside. So if the weather gets really bad, I'm pretty much done for the winter. But anyways, let's go ahead and end this video here. Please subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, you know, share, all that good stuff. Help me out with my, you know, channel, getting it, you know, built up some more. And I will just, I'll keep you posted on that engine for the other car. We'll see what goes on there. Otherwise, just thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next video.